In September of 2001, my initial service contract was coming to an end, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to stay in the Marines or get out and start flying for the airlines. On September 11th, I decided I'd be staying in. I was stationed near West Point, New York, about 40 miles north of Manhattan. It was a beautiful day, a crisp and bright blue sky with no clouds, and visibility was, in aviation terms, unlimited. I remember a young Marine bursting into my office that morning saying, "Sir, you need to come to the ready room and see this." An airplane just crashed into one of the Twin Towers. I remember watching as a second airplane struck the other tower and thinking that the network had found video of the original crash and had mistakenly superimposed it over their current video feed, but then shortly realized that we had just witnessed another airplane crashing into the second tower. My mom called me not long after to see if I'd heard about the airplane crashes in New York. While we spoke, we received news that a third airplane had just crashed into the Pentagon. I said to my mom, "We're definitely under attack. I gotta go. Love you." Shortly afterwards, my squadron received orders to cease all current flight operations and be prepared to provide aerial refueling support for combat air patrols over New York. It seemed unreal, combat air patrols over America. I remember watching the terror unfold the rest of the day on TV, and I could see the smoke rising over the horizon from fires some 40 miles away. A few months later, while conducting a local training flight, I coordinated a flyby of Ground Zero at less than 1,500 feet with air traffic control. I remember thinking, I wonder what the people down there think of hearing and seeing an airplane flying so low and close to the city. If you've never been to a military air base, many have signs that say, "Pardon our noise, it's the sound of freedom." So I hope that when New Yorkers saw my military aircraft flying by their city, they felt reassured knowing that a lot of good men and women were putting themselves between them and those that would do them harm, allowing them the freedom to continue living their lives without fear. I visited Ground Zero several times in the months after the attack. I smelled the still burning and smoking wreckage and saw the pictures of those lost stapled on makeshift memorials around the site. I also just recently visited the new 9/11 Memorial and Museum, which was a very tough visit for me. A few months after 9/11, I went to dinner with some fellow pilots, including 29-year-old Captain Matt Bancroft, his wife, newborn baby daughter, and his best friend, who was a pilot in my squadron. Matt was deploying to Afghanistan the next day with his squadron in support of the war on terrorism. A few weeks later, I happened to be the squadron duty officer, and I received a call from our headquarters informing us that a Marine Corps C-130 from another squadron had crashed into a mountainside in Afghanistan during a night mission, killing all on board. The caller then read me the list of names who had died, and Matt's name was among them. When I told his best friend, my squadron mate, he said, "You've got to be kidding me. That can't be right." I myself deployed shortly thereafter to Afghanistan and then later to Iraq. During the war in Iraq, I was able to periodically call my wife, Tara, and during one of our conversations, she said she had a breakdown and started crying at work. It was just so surreal to her that the person she loved was fighting in a war while everyone around her went about their normal lives like nothing was wrong. I told her that was great that people could go on with their normal lives because that's why we serve in the military. Several years later, in a mentoring session with 29-year-old Captain Matt Freeman, I recommended he volunteer for a ground combat tour in Afghanistan to improve his chances for later promotion and command, which he did. Just a few weeks before he deployed, he married his longtime sweetheart. Less than 2 weeks after Matt deployed, and a little over a month after he had been married, he was killed in a close quarters fight with the Taliban. I gave his eulogy at our squadron's memorial service. I think the hardest thing I've ever had to do. This is some of why 9/11 is an important day for me. For me, it's about service, sacrifice, sorrow, remembrance, and vigilance. And I'm very proud to be part of an organization that feels it's important to remember and pay tribute to all those that serve or have served in the military or as first responders. I certainly remember, and I will never forget. Thank you, PenFed, and thank all of you for your support.